You know what subject makes more kids and parents groan than almost any other? Fractions. I've heard it so many times. Fractions are confusing. Fractions? Well, they never made any sense to me. Or my child just doesn't get fractions. And you know, I get it. Because have you ever sat with your child and the question says something like, which is bigger, 3/4 or 2/3? And suddenly you feel that old panic rising up. How do I explain this? That's the fractions frustration moment. And you're really not alone. You see, up to now, your child has lived in a whole number world where 2 + 2 is 4, 5 times 3 is 15, and it's all clean and predictable, isn't it? But suddenly we ask them to add a half and a quarter and talk about denominators. Well, the rules look new and the ground feels a little wobbly. As well, too often fractions are taught as procedures without any meaning, like add the tops, keep the bottom, find a common denominator, flip and multiply. Well, that's just like giving a recipe without letting them taste the food. They might be able to follow the steps for a little while, but it really won't stick. See how that's a different way of looking at the problem? We need everyday anchors. We need to make fractions visible and bring fractions back to things they can see, touch and share, like having a pizza. If there's 8 slices, you can be talking about eighths. Eating 2 slices is eating 2/8. Eating 3, well, that's 3/8. And then you can start to compare which is more. Or a chocolate block with 12 pieces. Eating 6, that's a half, and eating 3, that's a quarter. Breaking and grouping pieces to show equivalent fractions, it's all a real life maths experience, isn't it? Even a number line where you mark 0 and 1 and ask your child to show you where a quarter or a third is. Well, that's all part of the discussion experience. Using measuring cups, how many quarters do we need to make one whole cup? You see, there's lots of life experiences in everyday life situations where you get to discuss fractions. Whether it's pizzas or measuring cups, real life maths is available. And this is a confidence building fix. You see, it's not just focusing on right or wrong. It's shifting from get it right to show me your thinking. Next time, try asking which is bigger, a half or a third, and show me why. You see, they might draw or fold paper or use food or explain, well, this many parts. And when we're talking about fractions, we're talking about even and equal parts. And you'll start to hear them explain their thinking. That's them making fraction sense. And when thinking is valued, confidence grows. Ask small why questions like, why do we need common denominators to add fractions? And also get them to explain their thinking. Can you feel the difference? We're building understanding, not just correct answers. There's lots of great practical mini drills that you can try out. You could use these quick prompts during real life situations, like comparing which is bigger and asking why. Not just pizzas, not just chocolate, but any opportunity to talk about fractions. Making a half as eighths. That's equivalent fractions, isn't it? And it's going to build their equivalent fraction fluency. You see, all the opportunities you can find, like sketching a rectangle and shading quarters, it's all going to add to their understanding, their comprehension of fractions. Now, these are short, low pressure and repeatable activities. Perfect confidence builders. So, let me ask you now about fractions with your child. On a scale of 1 to 5, how confident does your child feel with fractions right now? Do they explain their thinking or quietly guess? And when you ask, which is bigger, do they reach for a picture or a real life object? Or do they freeze? Have you noticed that they can talk about and maybe complete some activities with halves and quarters, but they tense up around thirds and fifths? Well, spotting these signals really early helps you respond before frustration turns into avoidance. You see, learning a new language, fractions are a new language and they're layered on top of whole numbers. So if a child only memorizes different fraction words or phrases, they'll freeze in a real conversation. But if they learn meanings and connections like equal pieces, the same, equivalent fractions, they'll become fluent, and that fluency carries into decimals, percentages, ratios, and algebra. Let me reassure you, you don't need to be a tutor to make this happen, and you don't need to reteach the class lesson. Your superpower at home is creating safe, curious conversations. Interesting thinking. Can you show me how you work that out? It's a great question. Let's draw it and talk about it. Another great way that you can have a conversation about fractions with your child. Could we cut this a different way? Will it still represent the same fraction? Do these two look the same? Is it the same amount? You see, those phrases remove the pressure. They invite insight. And what do we always say? Safe kids keep trying. So, fractions are just one of the building blocks. You see, real confidence comes when children rotate through all 20 core maths categories in a way that connects with them and connects the categories together. That's how understanding becomes stable. And that's exactly why I put together a free parent guide called More Than Numbers. Inside, you'll see 20 different categories that your child moves through in years 3 to 6. Fractions, place value, measurement, patterns and more. And how they link. It's really important to see the links so nothing is left to chance. If you'd like a quick eye-opening read that helps you turn everyday moments into maths wins, grab your free copy at the link below. Because maths is more than numbers. It's a way of thinking your child can own with confidence.